Ms. Bovill, 2 years ago, you and your mother were shocked when the man you always believed is your dad told you he is not your biological father. You tried to bring the defendant to paternity court 6 months ago, but say he backed out of his appearance. Now that he is here today, you state the DNA results will finally prove your case. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Bovill, you claim for more than 20 years you held on to a secret and had no choice but to confess your belief that Ms. Bovill's father is another man. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Bovill, tell me what happened 2 years ago.
2 years ago, I received a phone call from another brother of mine stating that my dad had doubts that if he was my father or not due to activities that happened before I was born. That was during Thanksgiving on a holiday weekend. And
Can you be more specific? You say activities. What kind of activities?
He felt like my mom was unfaithful and was doing things that wasn't right within the relationship.
Understood.
So now, when I got the phone call, I kind of brushed it off, and then my brother James was on the phone with my dad, and that's when I heard him out of his own mouth say that he wanted to have a DNA test because he needed his own closure just to know if I was his daughter or not.
And how old were you when this conversation happened?
25.
So your whole life, until you were 25 years old, you think this man is your father?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Duvall, what in the world are you thinking when your daughter gets this call?
I was in shock. I had no clue that he ever doubted that Carrie was his daughter. Carrie was devastated.
Well, I
she
expect
was,
so.
My daughter broke down, and this is my only daughter.
Mr. Bovill,
Yes,
you
Your Honor.
decided to make this call on Thanksgiving weekend, sir?
I asked one of my sons for Carrie's number because I wanted to share something with him. When I told my son how I felt about this situation that we're here today for, my sons brought the information to Carrie.
What got you to this point? What led you to this point where you said, I have to talk about this?
Okay, well, when I first met Regina, I lived in Boston. Regina lived in Springfield. And when I relocated from Boston to Springfield, the first 2 weeks I got there, people I didn't even know was telling me, yo, this guy's talking about that's his woman. And so I goes to Regina and I asked her, Regina, what this guy talking about? I only been in this town for 2 weeks. This went on for like 10 years. You know what I'm saying?
10 years?
10 years. And at the same time, I even addressed it to Regina. Why does he keep telling her that? Even her brothers had to go to him and check him on that. Am I right?
What's going on here, Ms. Duvall?
First of all, there is no truth to none of this.
What he just said?
Yes, let's start there. Second of all, Mr. Bovill, if you doubted me, if you did not trust me, why did you stay? If you felt like that all those years, you should have left.
So all of these years, Mr. Bovill, you believe that this other man, who's married to a family member, could be Carrie's biological father?
Yes, Your Honor. What convinced me was 4 years ago, I went to North Carolina and I finally met some of Carrie's cousins. And the person that I'm talking to, one of her cousins, is his granddaughter. Your Honor, if I had a picture and showed it to you right now of her cousin, you would believe that would be Carrie. If I showed you her picture, you would believe that was Carrie. And that's when I said, you know, I knew I was right. I knew I was right.
You saw a picture of this man's granddaughter.
Granddaughter.
And it looks exactly like...
I said, that's my, tears came out of my eyes. And that's when I said, I knew I was right. I knew I was right.
If you look at anybody in my family, from my first cousins down to my third cousins, we all have a same trait. One, we're all blind, we all wear glasses. Two, we all smile exactly the same. And the older I get, the more I start looking like my other cousin. The older she get, another cousin starts looking like me. It's in our genes. We all look alike.
So, Mr. Bovill, all of these years, you have these doubts,
I had these
but
doubts.
you never share them.
The things that went on before Carrie was born, the relationship they had, because her and this person I'm talking about, they did, I mean, after everybody was telling me to keep my eyes on them, watching them, now I'm watching them too. They used to disappear all the time. Oh, he's my wish partner. He was my best friend before you came to pick
Your
up.
Honor, first of all, we are a very close-knit family. The grandchildren are 70 plus deep of my mother's grands and great-grands, and all of them look alike. But the one thing that I did not want to happen here is that my family values would be tarnished with the babbling and the things that he is saying that has no substance to them.
So let me ask you this. During the window of time in which Carrie was conceived, the question really becomes, were you intimate with anyone else during that time?
No, ma'am.
Where there could be another potential father for this beautiful young woman?
No, ma'am.
At the end of the day, in paternity court, that's the question we have to answer. Now, what is interesting is in the court papers, I found her birth certificate. Now, on her birth certificate, there is no father listed.
I never found, none of my kids, none of my names on none of my kids' birth certificate.
You didn't let them sign the birth certificate, Ms. Duvall?
Nope.
Ma'am, no,
Nope.
that's not the case.
Nope.
Mr. Bovill never took the time to go there and sign those birth certificates. I told him time and time again, you are a grown man. Go to that hospital, to the wherever, and sign your children's birth certificates. I cannot sign them for you.
Like I said, we all made mistakes. At the time, before Carrie was born, we both made mistakes. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I'm not holding no grudge against her, but them 10 years of living in Springfield, people that I didn't know coming up to me, see what I'm saying? Even when we moved to South Carolina, the same person was so infatuated with Regina. Now, she's my wife now. Anything that I did with my kids, he got mad.
You are saying that this gentleman interfered in your relationship, in your parenting, so much that you felt like Miss Duvall and this person, they were having a relationship.
Yes.
And this was all occurring during the window of time in which Carrie was conceived and born. This was going on all of that time.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did he ever say anything to you specifically about actually being Carrie's father?
Yes, he did. When
What
I
did he
moved to
say?
South Carolina, he gonna say, that's my baby. That's my baby. See what I'm saying?
About
I didn't-
Carrie?
Yeah, see, I would say, you know how, yeah, about Carrie. That's my baby. That's my
That
baby.
is a lie straight from hell.
Your Honor.
That's a lie
know
straight
what?
from hell.
Your
So
Honor.
let me ask you this, and we are in court, and I need your answer to be truthful. Why would they start this type of rumor? Why?
Your Honor.
Especially a person in the family. What would be the motive?
The motive to me, if he was saying any of that, the motive was he was just a liar too.
Were you ever intimate with this other man?
No. For the 100th time, no. I wouldn't even think about being in nothing with this man.
When Carrie was born, even though I had these doubts, I still loved her and I treated her like she was mine.
How? How can you say?
How? Because
how
you
can
know
you
why?
say that in
Because
court?
how?
You have never been a father.
Because you know
you
what?
have
You know
never
what?
been
You
a
know what?
father.
You know
Stop
what?
lying
Your
like
Honor,
you
the pictures that I
have.
gave you.
You have
the pictures-
never.
Don't talk over
you
her,
have
Mr. Bovill.
never.
All right.
You came to graduation. You ain't come to mine.
You know what? And I apologize for
No,
that because, Your Honor, I
no,
could
'cause
not.
You've never been a
You know
father.
what?
You had
Your
one
Honor,
birthday party for me. You gave me, but you sent boxes of clothes. Giving me things is not being a father. I suffer because I've
And
never
you know what? You did
had
suffer.
you.
It's not fair. You know what's
It's
not
not
fair,
fair.
Carrie? I
I
owe you an
think of it.
apology, Carrie. You know, I owe you an apology.
I suffer. My brothers are suffering.
Yeah, you
because
suffered.
of
You
y'all.
did. And I owe you an apology.
And
You
yes,
know
you
what?
owe me an apology. but you-
Mr. Bovill,
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm gonna ask you one last time to be I'm so sick of hearing your mouth.
All right, I won't say another
just
word,
the
Your Honor.
sound of your voice.
I won't say another
in
word,
my
Your Honor.
ear right now, while
won't
this
say another
young
word.
girl is trying to express to you what your absence, what your dysfunction, what your mistakes have cost her.
Yes, you right, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Miss Bovill. You say you and your brothers have suffered.
We all have suffered. I have let white people hurt me because of you and not having the love of a father. And if you have a father, you would never understand what not having a father does to you, especially being a Black woman. And I love God with all my heart, but
that
it
was your mother
them.
and your grandmother's
It was
fault.
not them. You
They
are
would not let me come
grown.
see
Mr.
you.
Bovill,
You
don't
are
make me come off this
grown.
bench.
You are grown. And my mother has never, even when we tried to down talk you, she used to say, no, that's still your father. My grandmother never, she brought us to Massachusetts and sent us to your mother to visit you.
My mother did that. My mother.
How? My grandmother brought us on a bus from South Carolina
No, she
to
didn't. No, she
Massachusetts.
didn't. My mother
that
did.
picture that I sent here with me and his other daughter and my other two brothers sitting on the couch was when we went to Boston. That was the first time I've been back to Boston since I was born that I can remember.
And when you went back, did he make an attempt to get to know you, to see you?
He was in jail, so that was the only thing I got to see
You know
him.
what?
I went a couple of years ago. My aunt that lives in Massachusetts brought me there for Christmas. And I went and stayed with my sister. And I went and visited him and I spent the day with him. And that was it. But the entire time we together, all he can talk about is the past of him and my mother. That has absolutely nothing to do with me. I'm 25. I'm not a child. I know what's going on. I'm very intelligent. I have a brain. I don't give two flying bananas about what they done before me. He talking about 10 years, but I don't care. It has nothing to do with me.
Yes.
I'm the child here. And you have to be able and you to get over that because it's not, I shouldn't be doing this right now. I shouldn't be having to do this with you.
You are correct. You are correct. And you are a smart young woman. And I think you can see now, even for me, why I am getting so agitated, because everybody's talking in circles, everybody got stories, and I still don't have a great description as to what the circumstances were surrounding your conception. That's really all I'm here to get to. Because that really is the end-all be-all of this particular saga. Mm-hmm. This particular moment in time is about that, to get the answer you need. Now, I want to hear your story, and part of that is your witness. And you brought someone with you. I would like you to stand, sir, please. And state your name for the court.
James Bovill III.
Please step to the podium, Mr. Bovill. I'd like to hear from you. And so Mr. Bovill is your father.
Yeah, that's my father.
You're her brother.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you came to court to testify today as to?
Me and my dad have a close relationship, so like, he had tell me this like 4 years ago, a few years ago when he come down south, but you know, I had kind of like, I had brushed it off, you know, because it was really like, I didn't really find it like necessary to interrupt my sister with it, so I didn't tell her.
So he mentioned it to you, but you decided not to say anything to your sister at the time.
Yeah, I didn't feel like the time was right and the place was right to.
What did he say to you in particular?
I mean, when he seen that family member, he was like, don't she look just like Carrie? This could be such and such baby. So only thing I can go by is what he believed and how he feel. I can't go off for like, the only thing I could do is just step in the gateway and be there for, which is my sister.
Did he say he was not Carrie's father, or did he say he wasn't sure?
He said he wasn't sure.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. Jerome, I'm ready for the results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Duvall, Bovill versus Bovill, when it comes to 25-year-old Carrie Bovill, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Bovill, you are the father.
I knew he was my father, but now that he knows and he has no more reason to doubt me as his daughter, I really just want to tell him that I'm so sorry that you missed out. And I'm so sorry that you went through all that you had to go through, Dad, because I know it was a bad time in both of y'all's life, and I just want to say that I forgive you. I forgive you for everything.
Ms. McMahon and Ms. Wilridge, in your previous appearance in our courtroom, you learned your deceased dad had kept a secret from you your entire lives.
Yes, Your Honor.
It turns out that he had cheated on your mother, and you discovered that a good friend of yours was actually your biological sister.
Yes, Your Honor.
Today, you're back because you say your father may have had an affair with yet another woman.
Correct, Your Honor.
We'll soon learn if her son is your biological brother.
Yes.
Miss Swan, you're the woman who claims to have had an affair with their father. You admit that you kept it a secret because he was a married man.
Yes, Your Honor.
You believe your son was a result of that relationship and he is indeed their brother.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your son, Mr. Williams, is waiting outside of the courtroom and we'll meet him in just a moment. Ms. McMahon, how did you find out that you may have a brother you never knew of?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, back in 1999, I was shown a picture. I was at someone that we considered a cousin because we were so close growing up. We were at their house and I was shown a picture of a little boy. I think he probably had to be about 7 at that time. I was told that it was my brother. I looked at the picture, but I didn't see any resemblance. So at that time, I just passed it off as something that they were trying to say, and I never thought about it again. But in 2001, there was someone that showed up at my mom's house, and he claimed to be my dad's son. And at that particular time, I was not at the house at the time, but my other sisters and my mom got a chance to meet and talk to him. And my sister Gloria was there, and she actually got a chance to meet him.
Yes,
You
Your Honor.
did. Ms. Wilridge, explain what happened on that day.
Well, a few days before we did see him, my sister had said, well, we think possibly this guy could be your brother. So the next few days, he came over to my oldest sister's house, and he met my oldest sister and my mom, and I kind of hung in the back a little bit, and then I went out and I greeted him. When I first seen him, he didn't have any similarities of my father. So they sat and we talked a while in the living room, and we had a little conversation, and he left. And from then on, I just kind of let it go. It didn't really come back to me until, you know, just now.
And in your mind, your parents were a happily married couple.
That's
That's
right.
what you knew.
That's
Well,
right.
ma'am, Your Honor, we were young. We knew that there were problems, but we were too young to understand the full spectrum of what had been going on. We have heard that he could have been sleeping with another woman, but we didn't know about Miss Swan.
Miss Swan,
Yes, Your Honor.
so you did have a relationship with their father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you know he was married?
Yes, Your Honor, because when we first met one another, he told me he was married.
But why would you still mess with a
And
married
I told-
man? Why would you do that?
And
That
not
is
only was
just
he
low.
not only was he a married man, but you were also messing with a guy that you knew was messing with your neighbor,
friend, your
and that was your
neighbor.
friend, you know. And that was just like, you sleeping behind with a married man, and you sleeping behind your friend's man or your neighbor man. Why would you do such a thing as being a woman?
But see, I know he was married, but I didn't know he was sleeping around with no other woman or nothing.
But
All that didn't come up in
well,
no
you said when the
conversation.
relationship started, you did know he was married.
Yeah, he told me he was married.
Okay, and you
And
still.
so
Decided to
then
have-
a sexual relationship developed.
Not at the first. Not
Okay.
at the first.
Explain, how did it turn into a sexual relationship?
Way
With you.
a good while. It was a long time before we had any relationship. I say about a month passed or something like that. It passed, and that's what, after
A
that.
month. So do you feel bad for what you've done to a family, a wife, a good wife,
A good wife.
who cooked, cleaned, took care of her kids? Do you feel any remorse for what you've done,
Knowing that he was married.
knowing that he was married?
That part didn't even bother me.
Yeah.
And you was of age
that's
where it
why
should have, you know, you're not with a
woman. You
child.
were just low down and dirty and trifling.
So
That's
hold
what
on.
you were, and apparently you still are that way if you don't have no remorse for what you've done.
Hold on, Miss Swan. You said that part didn't bother you.
No, the reason I said that is because once, okay, you told, a married man told you he was married. Okay, I didn't keep on after the man.
But as a woman,
you could say no.
He was married.
And
you
I
could have
ju-
turned away.
You could even told my
If
mom.
you were decent,
hey,
you would have
I ain't
turned
trying to
away
talk
from
to
me.
me.
Miss Swan, how many years did this affair last?
Year and a half.
About a
Oh,
year and a half.
Ma'am, I don't know. You go from one extreme to the other because from what I've heard was 29 years. I heard 10 years. Now it's a year and a half. You have to make up your mind as to how long this affair lasted. And I don't know.
The affair lasted a while, that's all I can say. Because I can't remember the years and how long it was. I don't remember none of that.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So you attempted to name your son after their father.
Right.
Well, you didn't attempt, you did. You named him Ellis.
Right.
And that was their father's name.
Right.
And so when was the last time you saw their father?
The last time I saw their father, he left my house and he got towards the driveway. And he got out of his car and told me he'll see me in heaven. And that was the end of it. That's the last time I seen him.
He'd see you in heaven.
Well, I don't think y'all gonna
And-
be in heaven.
Yeah.
I don't think. And you said you're not remorseful. I don't
And the
think he's
thing
gonna
is-
meet. Y'all meet somewhere, but it won't be in heaven.
Yeah, and I think that the thing was that he was kind of feeling remorseful for the things that he was doing, and that's why he kind of like
And so,
gave up living.
in what proximity was the last time you saw him till when he passed away?
That night,
That night.
because that night when he left my house, a friend of mine came by and told me he was dead.
Well, he didn't die at night.
my dad
He
was found
he was found
deceased at 5:30 in the
yes.
morning.
Oh, well,
My mom was getting up to fix him breakfast, and she thought that he was just staying there, sleeping in.
Well,
and when
I
she
ain't
went to
know
go
that.
wake him up and tell him that breakfast was ready, my dad had passed. I think it came to him to where he was emotionally drained. That's what some of his friends was telling us, like he was emotionally drained and he felt that his time was up.
Yes, I just believe that all of his busy work had really gotten to
It
him.
caught up with him.
It caught up to him.
So, Miss Swan, did your son ever meet the man you say is his father?
No,
Never met him.
no.
And so you're destroying more lives. You
Yeah.
pretty much let him
So
meet his
how
dad.
old
that
was-
claimed to be his dad.
I didn't stop him from not meeting his daddy.
Okay, so Miss Swan, I have to ask you, and this is respectfully, but were you intimate with anyone else during the time you were intimate with their father, where there could potentially be another biological father of your son?
Not that no, ma'am.
Well, Your Honor, she's saying no, but if she's sleeping with a married man, she didn't think enough to be respectful of herself and sleep with a married man. I can guarantee you that there may be more men if she's sleeping with
bring
married
out
men
your son.
and thinking that it's
Jerome,
okay
will
to do
you please
so.
escort Mr. Williams into the courtroom? Thank you.
You go right up here on the left.
Mr. Williams,
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
thank you so much for joining us today. You know, we're here discussing, of course, the very sensitive subject surrounding your paternity and the plaintiff's late father. It is asserted that he is perhaps your biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, we asked your mother, had you ever had an opportunity to meet this man?
I remember certain things of him, but I don't remember too much. I remember the van that he had, And I remember riding in this van and some noises they used to make with the little horns and everything. But
My dad fixed on cars, and he used to modify all his vehicles. That was one of his things. He used to build things, very handy person. So that van, that big green van, you're right.
Yes.
So the van he's
That
speaking
is
of,
correct.
it was your father's.
Yes.
When you look at Mr. Williams,
Wow.
do you see your father?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And you know, Your Honor, I can't really tell you how I feel about it, because in a point,
I know.
Well, Your Honor, I would just like to say that
I'm angry that she had an affair.
that he had an affair on my mom, because that's the only person that hurt here. But at the same time, when he came in 2001, my mom accepted him. She said that that was not his fault.
Yeah, she was
You
just
know,
like he was an
she
innocent
accepted
child.
him
She was
because
okay with
she
it.
said he was innocent in his whole thing. I've never gotten a chance to meet him.
Yeah, and that's a shame, because we had to grow. We grew up without, and it's just, we're 30-something years old. We already done lost a sister, and now, you know, we have to have a relationship now and start right now, and there's too much time that already done been passed, you know, and it's not our fault.
No, it isn't.
We didn't know, and it's not his
Mr.
fault.
Williams, did you ever have the chance to bond or to find a connection with your late father?
I always talk to him in my head. I used to go to his gravesite and sit there a lot.
You did.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
So you went to his grave?
Yeah, I went a lot.
No, this was, I'm sure, very emotional. Did your mother go with you?
Nah, not at the times I was going.
Did she know you were going?
Yeah, I done told her a couple times.
And that would help you feel closer to him?
Yeah, like I say, I always talk to him in my head, and you know, I know it's someone up there watching over me. So.
And they say you look like their father. Do you believe you look like?
My mother used to tell me that all the time, but I don't remember his face and nothing.
You don't remember his face?
Mm-mm.
Have you ever seen a picture of him?
No, ma'am.
He has
You've
his
never,
ears for
He
sure.
has his
in
ears, his
32
mouth.
years, you've never in 32 years seen a picture of your father.
Wow. You robbed him. You really did.
Yes, I did, because I didn't have no pictures of him, and that was my fault, because on one of my faults, because I didn't take no picture of him, but he never did like taking no pictures. He never did like
But
taking
you
no
could
pictures.
at least came to us. You knew who my mom was. You knew who the people was.
I didn't
Even
know
though it
your
was a
mama. I did not know your mama.
You knew my mama. You knew my mama face. You didn't see my mama.
No,
You done been in her company, and
I probably been in her company, but I didn't know that's who it
You knew
was.
how to get in touch with us. You could have got in touch with us. You know what I'm saying? Even though it seemed like it wasn't a mistake to you, you don't feel any remorse for it, but you could have been like, there's a possibility more than what he done. He came to us.
So as you stand there and the plaintiffs look at you and say you look just like their father, would you like to see a picture of the man that you believe is your father?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. McMahon, Ms. Wilridge, is that okay?
That's
Because you
fine.
submitted
That is
one to
fine.
the court.
He needs to.
He need to.
Okay.
Look at that mouth.
Look at the ears.
Look at the ears.
You see yourself in that picture?
I don't. You think so? I really.
Yeah, I do. He probably don't. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot to soak in, but I do.
How do you feel?
It's the first time. It's a lot going on inside of me right now.
Yeah, it has to be, you know.
I wish she was here.
Yeah.
But it's nothing that I could take from her for what she done for me. You know, she bent over backwards for anything that I needed or wanted.
And as a mother, that's what she was supposed to do.
Jerome, I think it's time we go to the results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. It has been determined by this court that you are half siblings.
You knew it. Now he needs to go get his name changed. He's a junior. He's the only boy.
The only boy.
The only boy
that we know of.
So how does it feel today, Mr. Williams?
It's a lot lifted off of me. Now I know for sure, you know, and I really would like to have a copy of that picture.
Absolutely.
All of the pictures that we have, we can make you copies. I can put them on CD for you, everything.
Yeah.
And we want you to come by.
Yeah.
We want you to keep in contact. We want everything.
I get to have somebody to pick on. Don't you know I've been picked on for so many years? I get to have somebody to pick on.
But not by me.
Yeah. Just a little bit. Yeah.
Well, family, this was such a wonderful ending.
Yes.
I'm so happy for you.
Yes.
Take care. Court is adjourned. Today we have the case of Coe v. Coe, mother versus daughter. Miss Coe, you say you're here today because your daughter is an out-of-control teenager and she needs help. Furthermore, you claim that you have serious doubts that your daughter's boyfriend, Mr. Boyce, is the father of your 7-month-old grandson. You say Mr. Boyce has been a good father to the baby, but that your daughter has numerous sexual partners, and so he needs to know the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
You have also petitioned the court to demand that your daughter attend parenting classes. Now, Ms. Coe, you dispute your mother's claims. You say you are positive that Mr. Boyce is your baby's father and say today's results of the paternity test will prove your mother wrong. You have asked the court to order your mother to stop meddling in your life once and for all. Now, Ms. Coe, please tell the court why you're here today.
I'm here because my daughter is out of control. She has an issue with authority. She doesn't want to be told what to do, how to do, or why to do it.
Give me specific instances.
Okay. From fights at school, hitting a police officer, not once, but twice.
Hitting a police officer?
She punched a police officer twice. Twice. I get the phone call to go up to the school. I get there. I was thankful that I knew this police officer. He looks at me and he says, "This is your daughter?" He says, "I could take her to jail right now. She could have a felony."
Wow.
The officer got in the way.
In your petition to the court, you stated something about damage to your home. Please tell me that.
She made a phone call saying that I and my girlfriend had jumped on her because she still did not want to follow house rules. All I asked her to do was not disrespect the house. Don't bring the drama to the house.
I feel like that's not the truth. That's not the truth.
You brought drama to the house.
That's not the truth.
You made a phone call saying, my mother and her girlfriend just jumped on me. You come mess them up.
I said her girlfriend just jumped on me, and I did have somebody come over there.
She made that phone call. Them guys, they loaded up. They came to my house. They busted out every window. They busted out my car. They destroyed my house. This was 1 week before I was
That's your car?
That's my car. They broke out every window. That's my house. That's me standing on the porch trying to take a picture because now I'm upset and I'm like, you know what? I cannot believe my daughter is gonna allow this to happen.
And I couldn't believe your girlfriend jumped on me and I was pregnant. So
you got the window in your car?
They didn't jump. They broke out windows, car. They hit me with a brick. I got hit in the back of the head.
What?
And I also stopped them. I didn't think they was gonna do that to the house. I didn't say mess the house up. They took that into their own hands.
Zaire, I'm so disturbed by what I'm hearing right now. This is excessive.
Right.
And right
Over
now,
the top.
she's really
and dangerous. I want to know, how did you get here?
Well, most children grow up with their mother, not their father. I grew up with my father because due to the fact she abandoned me when I was 2 years old.
I did not abandon you.
I was told she dropped me off when I was 2 years old and never came back.
No.
And the reason I believed it is because I haven't seen her until I got in my teen age.
You didn't have so much as a visitation?
Oh, yes. I had visitation rights. She came over on weekends. I never
And
missed
so
a beat.
did you ever have a positive relationship?
No, not really.
With my
She's
mom.
always been resentful.
I feel like I had
Always
a good,
been
a good
resentful. Always been
relationship
resentful.
sometimes.
I'm not here to, you move them boys in our house.
If
It
y'all
wasn't
had a
just one
problem, y'all
boy.
would have put them out. If y'all had a problem, y'all would have enforced the rules
So,
and put them out, did something.
when
I'm a
we
child,
found
like you
out
said,
that they
I'm a
were
child.
there,
If it was
what
a
did we
problem,
do?
you should have put them out. If I'm a child,
I need to clarify something on this. Ms. Co-mom, you're saying that Ms. Co-daughter moved a gang into your home?
Yes.
it's at your house. You pay bills. If you wanted them out, you should have put them out.
I worked from 7 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 days a week.
How many people were there living down there?
They weren't even living down there.
7 people. Were you the only girl in this?
It was 3 girls. It was me, another girl that lived with us, and another girl that lived with us. Everybody was living there. That was the hangout spot. That's where you go. You running away or you ain't got nowhere to stay, you gonna come there.
Now, you're hanging out with these guys. Are you hanging out just as friends, or are any of them more than friends? Are
One
you
of them
dating?
was the guy I was dating. The other one was just friends. They were dating my other 2 friends.
So that brings us to why we're here, because now you have a grandchild.
But it's not just one guy. See, that's what she's saying. But it's not just one guy. There was somebody else in the picture.
So, Mom, you're saying she was sleeping with multiple guys?
I know that there was someone else. Now, how many more it was, I'm not for sure. But I do know that there was someone else. So, when I find out she's pregnant, I go to the guy. I go to Larry. I say to Larry, look, as Zair's mother, I'm going to keep it real with you. I've got to be 100. I say you need to get a DNA test.
But as the girl, I was being real, and I said, I'm not gonna lie, but there is a possibility. This baby could be someone else. I didn't just say you're the father. I said it's a possibility because I did do something. I did mess up and I did slip and mess around with somebody else.
So you have a boyfriend now, and that boyfriend may or may not be the father of your child.
Yes, because I did have a boyfriend, and I only messed with Larry when me and my boyfriend got into it. I went over to my best friend's house and he was there.
So now, what I believe, and you can tell me if I'm right, Mom, you're worried now about this cycle repeating itself.
Exactly.
And I know you still love and are concerned for your daughter. You've made that clear today.
Really, because even after she had done all of that to me, I moved out to Arizona. She calls me 2 months later after I'm in Arizona, and she says, Mom, I need you. I don't have anybody. She's about to have my grandson. What do we do? And then she still didn't want to do.
What do you feel? Tell me.
The
It's
only
okay.
rule I had for
let her
her
speak, Mom. What do you feel, sweetie? Tell me. You needed your mom? That's okay. We all need our moms. You don't have to feel ashamed about that.
I was there for you.
Are you worried for your baby? You don't want your baby to have to grow up and feel the things you felt? What are your hopes for your son? What do you want for him?
I just want him to have both of his parents. And I don't want him to grow up like I did. And I don't want him to run the streets like I did. Because I don't want him just walking out to the store and anything can happen to him.
Well, today we are going to determine who his father is. And we're also going to help encourage you. Your mom feels your pain. And I know you may feel like she doesn't love you, but if you look over at her right now, she's crying your same tears because just like you love your child, she loves you. I know you brought a witness today, Mr. Boyce, am I correct? Jerome, could you please escort Mr. Boyce into the courtroom for us? I want to hear from him. He's your boyfriend, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And one of the potential fathers, am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Boyce, please come and step to the podium. We know that today we're here to determine the paternity of this particular child, but we also know that this child is very important to you.
Yeah, he really is.
Am I correct?
Yes.
Please tell the court about that.
I feel like from the beginning I knew it was a possibility, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying, he made me grow more, you know what I'm saying, since he been around. Because my mom, she passed away, and once I told her about it, you know what I'm saying, she just, oh, that's my grandbaby. She buying him everything. I'm like,
So your mom...
She passed away in February.
And so you're hoping today, what are your hopes?
I'm hoping that he's mine.
That's wonderful. Mr. Boyce, I have to say to you that this court has seen countless instances where a young man stands before me and you can tell they're wishing they aren't the child's father. And I first want to commend you before we get any results of the man that you are, the man that you are growing and becoming, the fact that you can give love to a child that does have uncertainty as it relates to who their father is, but that you understand that love can come from all forms, fashions, and people, and that you can be the father figure that child needs, regardless of that. I want to commend you for that.
Right. Yeah.
And he's making you a better man.
Yeah, he made me feel like I got more to live for. After I lost my mom and my brother, I felt like I had nothing. That's my man's.
You looking at pictures of you as a child and him as a child. I can see in your eyes you love him. I'm really, really proud of you. I really am. I want you to know that. And you know who else is?
Who?
Your mom.
Yeah.
She is. And as, you know, as much of a stand-up man, you know, you're being in this decision, in this situation, I should say, you're being a really mature individual. I don't think we can discount the fact that as you walked into this courtroom, you may, and you should naturally have some doubt. You have that, right, where you don't know.
I have doubts, but...
Why in particular do you have doubts?
The time it happened, it's like we wasn't together. She was in a relationship with another guy. I always got a rubber in my back pocket, a condom. I keep that.
Even today?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Good,
I mean,
good. I'm glad to hear it.
I can't really say if I used it or not because I was under the influence, like, tough.
So you don't remember if the sex you had was safe sex?
Yes.
It wasn't.
And the defendant...
I know it wasn't. Because the first time, even when you wasn't under the influence, you didn't use it.
Was you drunk?
What about the first time?
Was you drunk?
What about the first time?
Was you drunk?
No.
Okay, the first time, that was something else.
Did you use one? No. The second time? No. The third time? No. He didn't use it.
I used condoms.
Not with me?
Yes, I did.
No.
Okay.
You ruining his reputation right here.
Yes, I do, though. I probably ain't use them as much as I should, but that was because I was with you.
Exactly, you didn't use them on me.
Okay, but I used them after the first time, though. No, okay, okay.
He didn't use them.
Ms. Coe, but you have told this court that you think it could possibly be Mr. Boyce or maybe someone else. Okay. Let's go to the results, okay? Jerome, do you have the results?
Here you go, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are we ready?
No.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
When it comes to baby Christian, Mr. Boyce? You are not the father.
Yes, you are. You're his father.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, you are.
I'm still his father.
You okay? I know this was not the way probably any of you wanted this to turn out, because I can see it in all of your faces.
Can I just,
Jerome, can you give him a
touch
tissue,
him?
please?
I'll
Hug him? Absolutely.
Can I please? It's okay, Mary. It's
Absolutely.
okay. We lost everybody, but you haven't lost me. It's okay. I am so sorry, but it's okay.
Mr. Boyce?
It's okay. You need to sit down. It's okay. All right.
I know the news is going to take a minute to sink in.
It's okay. It's all right.
And I know it's hard to accept. But if you can hear me now and potentially just think about this in weeks and years to come, that families are more than just biological connections. They are love connections. Biology determines the father, but love determines who the daddy is. And the court is going to encourage you and provide you with resources towards parenting. I want you guys to learn about how to be great parents so you could do this for that little boy. Are we clear with that? I wish you all the best of luck. And you know what? At the end of the day, no matter what happens, look into that little face and do the right thing. Miss Cameron, you tragically lost the love of your life 3 years ago and now find yourself standing before me fighting to prove that he is your child's biological father. Furthermore, you claim you desperately need to determine paternity so that you can file for the death benefits to support your family. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Melvin, you say your brother is not the father, and you claim you have more than enough evidence to prove Ms. Cameron is lying about who her child's father is. You believe she's trying to receive death benefits she is not entitled to. So, Ms. Melvin, tell me, what upsets you most about the situation Ms. Cameron finds herself in today?
Well, I'm speaking for myself as well as my family. This has disturbed us all. My mom would have liked to be here today as well, but she's very distraught and she just couldn't face it to come. So just the whole situation of losing my brother as well. I have a picture of my brother. We lost him, and just the whole situation of her getting pregnant, it just doesn't add up.
You don't think this child is his?
I don't think it's his. She already receives the benefits for one child, and the other one, with the dates not adding up, I just feel that she's just not trying to work.
Ms. Cameron, so
Yes.
you say today's court date is very important.
Yes, because his father's name is not on this birth certificate.
Let me see the birth certificate.
And that breaks my heart because my father's on my birth certificate. He's on my other child's birth certificate, so.
So because he's not on the birth certificate, this child, is it Malachi?
Yes.
Is not entitled to death benefits.
No, because they said I have no proof of him being his son because he passed when I was 12 weeks pregnant.
So the stakes are very high.
Yes, they really are. I need help. I'm a single parent of 2 kids. I need help. It's hard.
I want to get the background on this.
Okay.
Please tell me about your relationship with the deceased.
All right, I was 19 when I met him. And it just started off from there. Like, we was attached to the hip from that point on. I got pregnant with my first child within 2 months of being in, and we went and got these pictures done like a month after we got together because we fell in love from, like, it was love at first sight. We was planning our son, which nobody knew about that, only me and him, because we didn't want, just in case I did not get pregnant, I did not want, right there he is, look how juicy he is. You know, look how cute he is.
Yes, he is.
And he looks, like he does look like me, because I guess I got strong genes, but he looks like Jackie.
So you have an older child together?
Yes.
And then you planned for the next one?
Yes, because I was like an only child, and it was not fun. I wanted someone for my other child to play with. So I went and talked to Mr. Rathert, so he was like, okay, we can go ahead and try, just let's keep it under wraps.
So wait, I want to understand this first. Now, Miss Melvin, during this time, your brother's in a relationship with Miss Cameron. You know about her, right?
Correct.
You know about the children.
Correct.
And so you still feel like she's trying to get something that isn't entitled to her? Why do you think she's not entitled to it if...
Well, there's a couple things. He had came to me, like, it was a month before we found out she was pregnant and said that she had gave him an STD, and I work at an urgent care and I see a lot of stuff, so he told me. I said, are you sure he was like, man, I haven't done anything. I loved her. And so I'm like, oh, okay. I said, go up there and get tested. Take her to get tested. And he said they both got treated.
So that made you believe she was cheating on him because of this situation.
The situation.
Miss Cameron, is that what happened?
I found out I had the STD when I was pregnant with my daughter. So we don't know who that came from because he was out in the streets, his lifestyle.
The bottom line is the family began to believe you weren't just sleeping with their brother.
Correct.
Did you have any idea they were trying for this second child?
Yeah, I didn't know anything because if I would have known, I definitely would have cussed my brother out because he has 2 daughters besides the daughter with her, and he was not doing good for them either.
Miss Cameron, you said he passed away when you were 12 weeks pregnant.
Yes, and we did not know the sex of the child.
Had you told anyone?
Yes, I told my best friend April, and I told my mother, and I told my father. I don't know who he told, but I know that's the 3 people I told.
And at the point that you told him, did he tell his family?
No, he said wait for a couple days to make sure because it was a home pregnancy test that we took.
So how soon after you found out you were pregnant did Mr. Rathert pass?
I was 12 weeks when he passed. No, 13 weeks, I'm sorry, because I started bleeding at 12 weeks. And he rushed me up to the hospital because I had blood all the way down my ankles within 5 minutes of started bleeding. So I thought I was going to lose him. So I was stressing over that.
Your Honor.
And then the next week, he passed away.
And how did you find out he passed away?
I went downstairs to go to the bathroom, and I came back upstairs to go to bed, and he was snoring before I went downstairs. So I didn't think nothing of it. When I came back upstairs, he was not snoring. And because of the lifestyle he was living, every night I would put my hand on his back to make sure he was still breathing. And by the time I put my hand on his back, he was already gone. His lips was purple. And I was trying to flip him over so I could give him CPR. And I was calling 911, screaming like, wake up, smacking him in his face, and he just would not get up. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Miss Melvin?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you accept the baby at first?
Well, the thing was, it went so fast. So when we found out she was pregnant, okay, which they didn't tell us, then it was, she almost had a miscarriage or whatever the situation was in the hospital. I ended up going there, and when I had to take my brother to walk away, we walked over to the snack machine, and on the way to the snack machine, my brother Jay, he told me, he was like, I'm not sure if this baby's even mine anyway.
Why would you say that? He's the one that wanted it too.
So your brother said to you directly, I don't know if this is my child.
I don't believe that. Because he was excited when I told him that I was pregnant. He jumped up and down saying, please God, let it be a boy. I need a boy in my life.
And then, you know, so she's pregnant, I was taking her to her appointments.
You was my
and
work
I brought a calendar to show you some things that from when we went to the appointment on June 28th. So from June 28th, with her due date of her supposed to be getting pregnant, this would have been when she got pregnant. And my brother was not even around because the due date changed.
So this calendar shows
me going to an appointment with her and
you
getting
went to the
due
doctor
date.
with her on June 28th.
Yes.
And the doctor said she's 6 months pregnant.
Yes.
And so when you count back 6 months,
yes,
it's during the window of time when
my brother wasn't even there. The time just doesn't match up. So that's another reason why I feel like
it's not his child.
Okay.
And so, Miss Cameron,
yes.
Did you know where he was then?
He was out running the streets doing.
So he wasn't with you?
We was in a relationship, but he was not at home. I stopped taking my birth control on January 16th because we talked about it on the 14th about trying to conceive our son. And that very next night is when I got pregnant. My son was born on October 17th. If you added that up, I would have got pregnant on January 17th.
Well, Miss Melvin's saying the doctor said at the appointment on the 28th of June that you were 6 months pregnant. So if you got pregnant in January, if you count that back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Maybe the dates was off. I don't know.
That's a huge discrepancy.
I have an ultrasound picture right here. I know this might sound crazy, but I posted it on Facebook. And okay, this is his face like we're looking at each other. If you look in the eye, that is Jackie. Look at that bald-headed self up there and look at the bald-headed in the eyeball. And actually, there's another face right here that looks how fat Jackie's face was. Because I know I sound crazy, but it gave me peace of mind seeing that because I posted it on Facebook and I didn't even see it at first. And then people started commenting like, oh, there's somebody in the eyeball, there's somebody in the eyeball. I'm like, no, there's no way. And I zoomed, because it was on my phone, I zoomed it in and there is somebody in that eyeball. And I believe with all my heart that is a sign from Jackie saying that he was still with me when I had that ultrasound done. Because I cried and I begged God to give me a sign that Jackie was still with me. And 2 hours later, I got that.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. In this courtroom, I handle paternity. So this is beyond my area to refute. But I will say this. Listen, they say when people pass to the next level of life and living that they don't leave us. So if that's what you see, I am not the one that's going to tell you you don't. So, Miss Melvin, when you look at that, do you feel like maybe your brother was sending a sign that he was still with Miss Cameron and his unborn child?
I don't.
Why? You can't see Jackie's head in that?
I don't, Your Honor.
Yes.
There's another incident that was about a couple weeks before the time frame of her getting pregnant. There was a time which I have a signed statement from my mom because they live next door to each other, that she was like creeping around the corner to get to a car which was with another man.
I was in love with Jackie. I would have never cheated on Jackie.
I give this to you.
I'd like to see that.
Okay.
So this is a statement from your mother.
Yes.
She couldn't join us today. And it says, I am testifying that I do not believe Malachi Rathert is my grandson because I know Miss Cameron cheated on my son shortly before she got pregnant. In January 2013, my son and Miss Tomorrow, Cameron, lived next door to me. One night, I witnessed Miss Cameron getting into a parked car with a male. The car was parked around the corner instead of in her driveway,
she was
as
not
though
even with
she
me.
was trying to hide. About 2 months later, Miss Cameron.
No.
Miss Cameron.
I'm sorry.
Let me get through the statement.
Okay.
About 2 months later, Miss Cameron announced she was 2 months pregnant, and I do not believe my son is Malachi's father.
Okay,
Statement is signed. So you say that never happened?
No, that did happen. And I told Mr. Rathert that I went out with him because I felt guilty. Even though nothing happened between me and him, I was looking for comfort because I was by myself at that time because that happened right after he went MIA somewhere, wherever he was at. Yes, it was a guy. I have a lot of guy friends. She's the only female friend I have. if I went out...
I'd actually like to hear from your witness. Can you please stand, ma'am?
Yes.
State your name.
April Webb.
April Webb. Thank you for joining us, Ms. Webb. Do you have knowledge that Ms. Cameron was cheating with this other guy?
No. Miss Melvin, she was not cheating. This is my best friend. It's been my best friend for 16 years. When that date did occur, she came to me and she told me because she felt so guilty about it, that she had went on a date with a past friend, but they just hung out, talked, went to the movies, ate.
But how do you really know she didn't have sex?
I can only go off what my best friend has told me, and she's never, that to my knowledge, has lied to me before.
Okay, but you don't have firsthand knowledge of that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. You may be seated. Thank you.
Thank you.
So was that date during the time when Mr. Rather disappeared?
Yes,
It was.
It was December 27th, because it was 2 days after Christmas.
You said you got pregnant on January 17th.
Yes.
Even if what you're testifying to is true, do you understand why Ms. Melvin and her family could count back and say, this is what I saw her do in the month of December? That's why they have doubt.
I know for a fact, deep down in my heart, I did not do anything with him.
You know, Ms. Cameron, I know this is very important because as you say, you're trying to get your life together, you're struggling, and then if in fact this is Mr. Rathard's biological child, he would be entitled to death benefits.
Yes.
And so this is very important for you.
Yes.
But if it's not his kid, why do you need the death benefits?
Okay, if it's not his kid, I'm not going to ask for the death benefits.
Okay.
All right, I think I've heard enough testimony. I'm ready for the results.
John.
Thank you. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. To be clear, because there wasn't a blood card available to test the DNA of the deceased Jackie Rathard, we performed a DNA test with the surviving grandparent. The results determine if there is a viable relationship between the child Malachi Rathard and the grandmother, Miss Marjorie Duvall. In the case of Cameron versus Melvin, when it comes to 2-year-old Malachi Rathard, it has been determined by this court, Miss Duvall is related to Malachi Rathard.
Jesus. Thank you. Now, do you believe me?
I guess.
I was being honest with you.
I know there have been challenges in this relationship because of everything. But one thing Ms. Cameron said, which is true, is that since this is your brother's child, this child is entitled to whatever benefits would be available to him. And from her testimony, they need it. Ms. Cameron?
Yes.
It feels good to just finally have it.
Yes, it does. But
Here.
it still makes
Tissue?
me mad.
What's tissue?
Thank you, Ms.
I hug
Melvin. Thank you, Ms. Melvin.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Ms. Austin, this is your third time here in our courtroom with Mr. Wallace and Ms. Roberts. Previously, you were here because Mr. Wallace questioned the paternity of your other child, but now you find yourself in the same situation. Today, you say you need to prove to Mr. Wallace that he is the father of your 9-month-old son, Ronell, so that he can begin to step up and be a father. Mr. Wallace, you claim you have multiple reasons to doubt when it comes to whether or not you are the biological father of this child, and hope today is your last visit to this courtroom. Let's take a look at what happened the last time you all were here.
I thought Ronell got himself together.
In addition, you have another child with Ms. Austin.
The kids, I love my kids dearly, but I shouldn't have
You
got
just
married.
don't love their mothers.
Correct.
When it comes to baby Danielle Wallace, Mr. Wallace, you are
the father?
He is an innocent baby. Like, I ain't have a father in my life, so I don't want my kids to grow up not having no father in their life.
She is a whore. So perfect.
You're not gonna address a woman in this courtroom that way. You better pipe yourself down. Get out of the courtroom, Mr. Wallace.
I never had anybody to show me how to treat a woman or to be a man, or just need help on.
And that's why we're here.
So last time you were standing on the defendant's side with Roniel,
yes,
Mr. Wallace. So now, Mr. Wallace, you back with Miss Roberts.
Yes, ma'am.
But you still going back and forth between the two women because she's pregnant now and the baby could potentially be yours?
Yes.
Because let me just say something, because the last time I talked to you on the phone, you know I called you one day. You had your kids. You sounded so happy. You sound like you were on the right track. You said you had your kids and you all were having a great day. And I have been talking about you nonstop since then. When people ask me some of the cases that mean the most to me, you're one of the people. And so I have to say before I even start today, I'm so mad you all back up in here. So, Miss Austin, I have to ask you, what has happened since the last time you all were here?
Since the last time we was here, everything started out okay, but we all knew that wasn't gonna last long. Roniel Wallace was still bouncing back from me and Kendrelyn. I had enrolled in school, but I never did go because I had got pregnant once again with Roniel. And she got pregnant with her baby, with her son. And as you can see now, once again, I'm pregnant again with my third baby.
First of all, I don't know if it's because you're nervous, Miss Austin, which, look, I wouldn't blame you if you were, but it's not funny. I keep seeing a smirk on your face. You know
it's
when
sad.
it's funny.
Because it's sad that I'm back here again.
You're disgusted with yourself that you're back here.
Yeah, for the same reason.
I can see behind your eyes the hurt. And the baby could potentially be yours?
Yes.
And the child that we are dealing with in terms of the paternity results today is a second child you had by
Yes.
Mr. Wallace, named Roniel.
Yes.
9 months old.
Yes.
But you're pregnant again.
Yes.
All right, so let me understand this. Obviously, Mr. Wallace has been going back and forth between you two women, and you two women are still falling for it. Why is there a doubt then, Mr. Wallace, as to whether or not her child is your child if you've been having babies with both of these women back and forth all this time?
Because she's very promiscuous. When we was together, I had installed, it was like spyware on her phone. It's what they would duplicate her text messages and call log and send a copy to my email. And again, for about the 5th, 6th time, I called her texting different men.
Well, where your proof at?
You saying that didn't happen?
Where your proof at? I never saw it.
And you believe she's sleeping with these men?
Yes.
Ms. Austin, were you sleeping with these men?
No. Lie detector me, please, right now.
How is you can't just be involved with all these different men without doing
Who, I'm not you, just because you lay down with everybody who you talk to. Because that's what you do.
You and the Lord know you a slut. and that's
No,
like-
you're a slut.
Hold on.
You're a slut. You're a slut.
Mr. Wallace,
You're a
you
slut.
remember from the
You're a
last time
slut.
you were here,
I don't-
we are going to speak to women respectfully in the courtroom. You can express yourself, but do it respectfully. So you believe she was sleeping around?
If I'm dead, so why you keep on sleeping with me? Why? 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 I'm pregnant again. Why? 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 Why?
Easy access.
Right. You say that about
All
her,
right.
yeah.
So
Why
now,
do you keep allowing me to sleep
I'm
with
gonna
you?
keep on just because I know that you with her. She's
So,
allowed.
I don't have nothing to do with that.
Yes,
If
you
you
do.
can sleep with somebody else,
Yes,
man,
you
then
do.
you got low
I know you're
Ladies,
not talking.
ladies,
I know you
you guys want to hear the case?
let's get some order. Let's get some order. No, get her, Roniel. Court is back in session in the case of Austin v. Wallace due to the exchange that occurred between Ms. Roberts And Ms. Austin, Ms. Roberts has been removed from the courtroom. You know, we're here because yet another child is in the world. And we're unsure if you are their biological father. Ronell, 9 months old. Before we had to take a recess, we were dealing with the issues as it relates to the doubts surrounding the paternity. You were outlining that you felt like Ms. Austin was sleeping around.
Yes, ma'am. If you're talking to other people while you're pregnant and right after you're pregnant, of course, I'm gonna have doubts about the child.
Right. Ms. Austin, are you admitting that you also had a relationship with somebody else during the time?
No, I wouldn't even call it a relationship.
It was just someone else you were seeing?
Yeah, talking to.
Okay.
Because I was hurt
But if you,
by trying to get back at Ronell for the things that he has done to me.
And so, at the end of the day, you all can see now that 2 wrongs never make a right. They make more wrong.
yes, ma'am.
Right? Because you were wrong for going back and forth between the 2 women, and then you were wrong for being pregnant and talking to other men and expecting him to then believe your child is his child automatically. And look, I don't want things getting out of hand, and I know this is an emotional thing to talk about, Miss Austin and Mr. Wallace. I don't understand how you 2 fell apart.
Because like she said, she tried to get back at me for the things that the mistakes that I made.
Actually, Ronell left his apartment and he moved with Kendra.
Just out of the blue, he woke up and said, I'm gonna move with Miss Roberts now?
Just go with her.
So what happened?
You were being promiscuous, and I'm not gonna tolerate that.
So basically, Mr. Wallace, you can sleep around, but your women can't. Mr. Wallace, I see right now, not much has changed since the last time we were here. I was hoping that it would. Another thing that hasn't changed, that there's another child whose paternity is in question and you are a possible father. But you have doubt.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the baby has a resemblance to you or your family? Are you concerned about that?
I feel like we have certain features, but you can't just base it all off look.
They have the same chin.
Let me see that. Is that evidence you'd like to present?
Yes.
Okay. Walk me through what these pieces of evidence are. The first piece is...
The chin. You see that chin? Look at their feet.
So you say their feet are alike?
Yeah.
But they don't change your mind?
No, ma'am. It's just like you go to a police lineup. They put you in there with 6 other men who look just like you.
And you got picked out of it. And so
you can't just go off looks.
So you feel like these similarities are not compelling enough?
No, you can't just go off looks. I'm going off her actions.
You couldn't forgive her. You all couldn't work through this. Instead, you just went to stay with Miss Roberts.
And abandoned me and my children.
That's false.
The apartment that I have now is because I moved in because of Ronell. Because of Ronell. Ronell left me to go be with Miss Roberts. He don't care. It's all about him, and he doesn't care. And I'm done. Like, what more can I put into this?
That's false.
The apartment is because he said he didn't want to stay with Kendra anymore. He wanted us to be back a family. And I did what I had to do to move into the apartment, Your Honor. I do everything for him. I stood by his side when he had his apartment. He went through a lot. And I was there by his side, never left. And I could have left. I could have walked away. I had a family, like, I could have walked away, but I didn't. I stood by his side in earth because he left me. He keeps leaving me. Every day he leaves me. Like, what more could I do?
That's because you always have other men.
No.
Mr. Wallace, do you hear her?
She could sit here and put on a show, but
no, that's not a show. Everybody knows that.
You stop having other men, we wouldn't have this problem.
Everyone knows that. He sits in my house, texts Miss Roberts.
Miss Austin, for the life of me, I love this young man because I've invested so much time in him, but I don't know why y'all want to be with him so bad. So, while you're with Mr. Wallace, you're trying to have this relationship. You got one child together, maybe 3. I'm trying to understand the extent of you feeling like he left you. You say he's always leaving you.
Yes, every time I look up, he's picking a reason to leave.
Explain that to me.
Like, not too long ago, Raniel left the house. He left the house.
So wait, is he there living or is he there visiting?
Yeah, he was there living.
Okay, go ahead.
But he left my house. He leaves my house and goes spends the night out at Kendrick's house. With his stuff still being at my house until I took it to his mom's house. And that's where his stuff been at ever since. He just came back to my house not too long ago like 3 days ago because him and Kendrick had a fight.
When you just broke down a moment ago, I felt for you because I see a young woman here that desperately is trying to have a relationship with somebody that
doesn't want me.
She's lying now.
Ms.
Everything
Austin,
she told you
I
was
don't
a lie.
even know if he doesn't. It's not that he don't want you or he don't want Miss Roberts. Mr. Wallace hasn't grown enough where he can be in a position to want anybody or to truly commit to anybody. And I think ultimately he's got to grow into the man that he needs to become if that's ever going to happen. But you two women continuing to fight and argue and get into altercations, you're pregnant for goodness sake. Are you hoping that it's determined today that Mr. Wallace is Ronell's father? Is that what you're hoping?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
And Mr. Wallace, what are you hoping for today?
I'm just, agitated.
You feel agitated?
Yes.
Tell me.
Because of the bull crap performance she put on. Look, well, I need to walk out.
Let's stay here and finish it. Come on.
Raniel, don't walk out again. You can stand up here. Do not repeat the same mistake as last time. Stand up here. Get your composure. Get composure.
I knocked it.
Stop it.
No, you won't.
Mr. Wallace.
You sitting up here, you taking her sack.
Come on.
You ain't even let me get a word in.
Stand up. Jerome, just give him a minute. Give him a minute.
Let's go out here and sit.
God. Mr. Wallace, I'm glad you came back. What I was trying to tell you before you left is I don't want you to make the same mistake again. When you were just speaking to me and you said you're taking her side, I'm not going to let you leave here thinking I'm taking anybody's side. I'm asking the questions that need to be asked. Now, we're going to get you these results because you came here because you wanted to know, right?
Yes.
Are you Ronell's father? I have that for you, and I'm going to give you those answers. And then I'm going to get you all some help. Yes. All right? All right. Here we go.
Go ahead and take a seat for a second. Sit down. Go ahead and stand up.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Austin versus Wallace, pertaining to 9-month-old Ronell Wallace, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Wallace, you are Ronell's father. I want to get you all some help. I have joining me today via Skype a gentleman by the name of Mr. Wright. Now, he's a social worker in Chicago, your hometown, based right there. Thank you so much for joining us today. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Well, I have a number of social services. I have a number of resources that I want to wrap these young people in, but are they willing to accept my help?
Good question.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. That's a wonderful thing. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright, and I look forward to hearing about the progress. We will be putting them in touch with you immediately.
All right.
Thank you, sir. That's wonderful. Ms. Sherman, you claim the defendant is taking advantage of your grieving aunt emotionally and financially by claiming your deceased brother is her child's father. You need today's results because you won't allow your aunt to support a child who is not your brother's. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Castello, you say you're tired of Ms. Sherman and Ms. Thomas questioning the paternity of your son, and you are here to put an end to their doubts once and for all. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Sherman, you say Ms. Castello is taking advantage of your aunt?
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain to the court why.
My aunt threw Marissa a baby shower. She supports this baby financially, as in buying his diapers, his clothes, his food when he is at the house. If he has a doctor's appointment, she is there, and that's not right if she doesn't know that the baby is his.
Your Honor, that's his family.
We don't know
choose
that.
to decide to
We don't
do
know that. We don't
Erica
know
was
that.
there with me at the hospital
We don't know if
when
he
I
did.
had the baby. She videotaped the entire thing, and when Ryan was born, she saw the crown of his head and said, he is a Sherman.
All right. So you are not taking advantage of Ms. Thomas, Ms. Castello?
No, ma'am. She takes her part as being his aunt. She raises him whenever he goes over to her house every other week for an entire week. And if there were any doubts that she had about Ryan being his son,
told him.
then it shouldn't matter what he does, because if that's his kid.
But the truth is, there still is very real doubt. Is there doubt?
No, ma'am, not on my end.
Your Honor, when I seen the crown of that baby's head, I'm like, and I just started crying. I said, that's my baby's. That's my baby's baby. You know, and it don't replace him, but having him in my life, it helps me deal with him not being here. I need him to be Ryan's, because I can't say what will happen if it comes back that he's not. Because that baby means so much to me. I can't tell you how that baby feels. Missing my nephew, his death was just not what it's supposed to be. He would have been a great father. And I said, he's not here to take care of his kids. So I said, I'm gonna step up and do it. And being his auntie, being Junior's auntie, I'm gonna step up and be that. Baby Ryan needs to know who his family is. We don't know for sure.
And so, Ms. Sherman, I have to ask you, I see your expression, and I see how resolute you are.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to know specifically, why do you have doubts? Why?
For one, Your Honor, my brother told me that he doubted the baby because...
What did he say?
He wasn't for sure if Marissa was actually pregnant, and then he wasn't for sure if the baby was his. So, I'm not saying even that this is not my brother's baby. I love him. I was with him last week. But I'm not finna get attached to a baby if I don't know, because I can't do that for me. I can't sit here and be like, that's a part of my brother, and then it end up not being. But when we were in college, Your Honor, they were both unfaithful. Both of them slept around with multiple people.
And shock to me. Because when Ryan and I got together, we got together in the beginning of August. End of September to the beginning of October, we moved into Miss Thomas's house. At that point, we stayed with each other the entire way. So any argument, fight, disagreement that we had, Erica knew about it because we came to her about whatever problem that we had.
So, Ms. Castello, take me to the point you found out you were pregnant.
I found out I was pregnant in the middle of March. And at that point in time, I contacted Ryan and I told him, hey, I think I'm pregnant. And at that point in time, he was like, well, is this my kid? And I said, well, it was a slap in the face because I know he had room for doubt because when we broke up in the beginning of January, I started to talk to somebody else. He started to talk to somebody else. And then towards the middle of, after me and the other guy had intercourse with each other, Ryan and I had intercourse probably about a week later. And then I found out in March that I was pregnant. And so when I came to Ryan, that's where I say, we both weren't innocent because I knew he was talking to somebody.
Right.
I was talking to somebody.
Right.
So but at the same time, it was a slap in my face because I was like, you were the last person that had intercourse with.
You're not positive if you just said you were sleeping with somebody else.
I know, but at the same time, I knew for the fact Ryan was the very last person that I slept with.
I never said Ryan was a saint. Y'all was both sleeping with other people. I'm just saying, don't say that he's for sure his if we're not sure.
I have no doubts.
If we're not sure.
Because I know for a fact.
How you got no doubts if you were sleeping with somebody else the next week?
If you look at my son and you look at Ryan Jr., resemblance. When you look at Ryan Jr.'s baby pictures and you look at my son.
He doesn't look like my brother. He looks like our family.
You weren't saying that the other day when you messaged me.
No. I said he looks similar to my family. I never said that he doesn't just look like him.
All right, but listen.
He doesn't look like my brother.
It's human nature to go based on looks, but we have learned in this courtroom that we can't always go based on looks. So let's go on the time frame.
Okay.
So the best way to figure this out is to go to my conception calculator. Let's figure this out. I need baby Ryan's birthday.
Baby Ryan's birthday is October 27th, 2017.
Okay. I put that birth date in, October 27th, 2017, and press calculate.
Exactly.
Calculates the window of conception as February 1st to February 5th, and the date of intercourse between January 29th and February 5th.
The end of January, the beginning of February.
That's when you testified you were having sex with the other guy.
I was having sex with the other guy the beginning of January. But Ryan and I slept with each other towards probably like the first to second week of February. When I found out I was pregnant, it was in March.
That's not what she just said.
But earlier you testified it was the middle of February before you and Ryan got back together.
We didn't fully get back together when we had intercourse with each other.
You testified that you had sex with Ryan at the middle of February.
So you see what my doubts
And then
come
you
in,
said the other
You
guy.
have doubts, but you still claim him as your nephew. So don't claim him if you don't have any problems. So you can step the other way and move
calm your voice down.
Okay, hold on. Let's be respectful and use respectful language in the courtroom. What was the point you were making, Ms. Sherman?
Like I said, I do not just say this is my nephew. If you go on my Facebook, his pictures are everywhere. That's not it. I'm not just saying that this is not my brother's baby. I want to make sure. You see how my aunt is looking? How she is crying? My whole family is like this.
So if you have doubts, then why
they
do you
don't
ask him
know
to see him? If you have doubts,
because if I have doubts and that is my brother, baby, I still want to be there.
No,
my
because
brother's
I
not
don't
there
want you to
for
be
him.
there. If you have doubts, there's no need for you to be in my child's life.
That's exactly why my brother said he didn't know.
Okay,
because
so when you find out, I want an apology, and at that same time, when I get that apology, you still won't be able to see Ryan.
That's your decision then.
So
then you took me away from him. So
no, you took yourself away when you had
doubts. But I just said I'm gonna be there though, right?
No, you took yourself away
I
when
just
you
said
had
I'll be there if he my brother.
Okay, ladies, we going down a road to nowhere fast. This is not helping.
It really is.
It's not helping.
I just want to be there.
Because ultimately,
it's about that. Excuse me, Your Honor, but at the end of the day, I don't get in the middle of their spats because of that baby. They need to understand at the end of the day, it's not about how she feels. It's not about how she feels. It's all about him. And if they're fighting like this, and I tell them all the time, if I was to die, who would be there for him? I'm not certain that my family will pick up where I left off at. I don't want this baby being left alone. But I will say this about Marissa. Marissa came to me after my nephew died, and she was honest with me because she know me. I don't pick sides. And baby girl, just tell me the truth. I know exactly when she says she had sex with Ryan. She might be nervous and getting everything mixed in. It was at the end of January. Then she told me she had sex with Ryan. She had sex with the boy at the beginning of January. But what confused her was she had a period in January, but didn't have a period in February. So she was confused. I told her, I said, okay, well, Marissa, you know we're gonna have the DNA test, right? She was so angry with my nephew, she didn't even want to name him Ryan. She didn't even want to give him the last name Sherman. And I told her, Marissa, you and Ryan played these games together. Both of y'all were in the wrong. You can't just blame Ryan for Ryan denying his baby.
And so you're saying you convinced Miss Castello to name the baby Ryan?
Yes, when I seen Ryan's head, because if you look at any of our family, you cannot deny none of our family. Our family look identical to each other. Everybody. When I seen that baby come out and I seen his crown, I just started crying. I said, that's my babies. Even though all the drama was going on, I text her pictures of him after he was born. Y'all, he's here. He's ours.
She did.
He's ours. But she knew, Marissa
And
knew.
so, Miss Thomas, I do have to ask you, because unfortunately, Ryan passed away before baby Ryan was born.
Yes.
Have you even considered that if this baby is not your biological family member, what will you do?
Honestly, I don't know. I have a bond with that baby.
So the stakes are very high.
Yeah,
They really
I want
are.
this to be my brother's baby.
You do?
No doubt.
I was just about to ask you.
I love this little boy. I
don't
want
even
that
call
to be
my son by his first name.
I'm gonna tell you why I don't call him by his first name.
You don't
I don't
even
like
call him by his
Did I
first
call
name.
Ryan by his name? Or did I call him Junior? I don't like calling him Ryan because I feel like I'm calling him my brother's name. Not saying that I'm taking it away from as his being his son, but I feel like I don't want to call nobody else my brother's name. To me, this is my only Ryan. That's my Levi, if that's my brother's son. That's it. I don't call him Ryan simply on the fact I can't deal with calling him Ryan and calling another person
It's just
my son's
triggers,
baby.
triggers,
It's just
triggers.
Emotions, not even against the baby.
Right.
Just on the fact that my brother is not here no more. My brother was 18 years old. He should not be gone this early. Period. He would have loved this little boy.
Well, I will say, Miss Sherman, as I look at this is such an unfortunate, tragic situation. And Ryan is just gone way too soon.
Too early.
And I feel the pain in the room. I truly, truly have such empathy and compassion for your family. I'm so sorry. And I think the only thing we can do at this point for everyone, so we can figure out where do we go now, is to get the results. Jerome, I'm ready for the envelope, please. Are you okay, Ms. Thomas? You okay? You want me to read them? You okay? Okay. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. Miss Thomas, are you all right? Do you need to sit down? Are you okay?
She okay. She just cry like that.
You okay? Because there wasn't a blood card available to test the DNA of the deceased, Ryan Sherman Jr., we performed a DNA test with his surviving sister, Nalencia Sherman. With that being said, the results determine if there is a viable relationship between the child, Ryan Castello, and Nalencia Sherman. Miss Thomas, are you okay? Can you make it through the results? Are you sure you don't need to sit down?
No.
Are you sure you want me to read these?
Yes.
In the case of Thomas Sherman versus Castello, when it comes to
It gotta be Ryan.
16-month-old Ryan Castello Sherman, it has been determined by this court the percentage of relatedness between Ms. Nalencia Sherman and Ryan Castello Sherman is 97.8%. You are related.
Yes, I do it. We good, baby.
So, With that being said, Marissa, I mean, I apologize for doubting you, but I can only go off of what my brother said.
I do accept your apology, and I will bring Ryan around for you more. I do accept, what you said. I feel like it could have been handled differently.
It could have, and I'm not gonna even say like it couldn't, but at the time, we was both pregnant. Yeah. We both just lost
that's
somebody.
a recipe for disaster.
I mean, hot, pregnant in the summer in Texas. So I mean,
look, that's even, ain't no talking then, we just mad all day.
Yeah.
Okay, hot, pregnant in the summer in Texas.
Yeah, it's hot.
Look, I get it.